correct title of the song, in case you ever need to look it up, is Whoop, There It Is. The first word is whoop. W-H-O-O-M-P, whoop.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
Whoop. W-H-O-O-M-P. Did you definitely know it was whoop? Maybe the title was whoop, or maybe oops. Oops, there it is. Poop, there it is. Tagline is poop, there it is. You thought it was whoop, oops, whoop, or poop. That is about to be the theme song for the Trump White House for their response to the Mueller report. Whoop, there it is. Oops, oops, there it is. Whoop, they blew it. Oops, the White House. Whoops, and whoop, there it is.
Whoops, there goes MSNBC. It's official. Bernie Sanders is working for the Republican Party.
You have said that you believe that people with felony records should be allowed to vote while in prison. Does this mean that you would support enfranchising people like the Boston Marathon bomber, a convicted terrorist and murderer?
If somebody commits a serious crime, sexual assault, murder, they're going to be punished. I think the right to vote is inherent to our democracy. Yes, even for terrible people.
Even for terrible people. Probably because they'll vote Democrat. I kid. But Bernie, that makes no sense. You think a guy in jail for murder can't have his rights taken away? What is it about being in jail that you're missing? He is in jail. He can't go outside. The toilets have no seats. Seems like not voting is the least of his concerns. But hey, I guess Bernie wants the guy on death row to vote. Makes sense. He can pull one lever before we pull the other. Terrible. It's almost tailor-made for an RNC ad.
Police testifying both brothers were shooting at and throwing pipe bombs and one pressure cooker bomb at them.
You think the Boston Marathon bomber should vote not after he pays his debt to society, but while he's in jail. You sure about that?
You know, this is what I believe. Do you believe in democracy?
Paid for by Bernie Sanders. What a great issue to champion, making sure the Boston bomber can vote. I guess chucking orphans down a well didn't score as high in focus groups. Are we sure Bernie isn't colluding with Trump? Or maybe thanks to the activist media, Sanders thinks America is just as nuts as him. No, we are not. Hell, even Cher is against this. Which means it's time for...
Cher is right.
I'll have you know that costs over $100,000. It's true, though. Cher tweeted that even this idea by Bernie is too crazy for her, and she dated Gene Simmons. And Michael Bolton. Not John Bolton. But Bernie still won't let go.
I said that because the right to vote is essential. If you are a citizen, you have the right to vote. And that is a right we must protect because we know the history of this country. We know that women didn't have the right to vote. We know that African Americans didn't have the right to vote.
So, like, criminals are like women and blacks? I'd say he's digging his own grave, but he's working on the whole cemetery. Hey, but let the Boston bomber vote.
Let the Boston bomber vote. He should be voting, right? I don't think so. Let terrorists that are in prison vote. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Fact is, the party is on a leftward, downward spiral, and it makes you wonder, how left can this party go?
College is very important and should be free.
College shouldn't just be free, it should be mandatory. Don't go to college, then you go to prison.
But in prison, you can still vote. Only if you're a murderer or a terrorist.
We need to raise the minimum wage.
To at least $40 an hour.
$100 an hour. $1,000 an hour.
As long as you're in prison.
But only terrorists and murderers. We should balance the Supreme Court.
With more terrorists and murderers.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
The Electoral College needs to go.
One person, one vote.
One person, 10 votes.
Have a pet gets 3 votes.
Unless it's a cat gets 5 votes and a bag of clams.
What about serial killers?
Great question. Kill 10 people, get 10 votes.
This is really weirding me out.
The rich don't pay enough in taxes. They must pay more.
We need a death tax. You die, we tax you.
In my plan, we tax you after you die.
It's a ghost tax.
What about back hair taxes?
Terrible personality taxes. And taxes on ugly babies.
Taxes on jerks who stood me up at the prom. You know what you did, Tristan. We need sanctuary cities.
No, I want sanctuary houses.
I'm talking about your house.
Sanctuary hot tubs.
You got a hot tub? I got a right to be in it.
I'm Rick Jacuzzi, and I'm running for president.
I'm Jenny Fleming, and I'm running for president.
I just broke out of maximum security prison, and I'm certifiably insane, and I'm running for president.
Paid for by the really, 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 really left party.
Meanwhile, Sleepy Joe finally woke up, and boy, is he woke.
We are in the battle for the soul of this nation. I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are. And I cannot stand by and watch that happen. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Wow, I dozed off during that. So Joe says Trump is worse than war, terror, disease, and cream of asparagus soup combined? Somehow I don't believe that he believes that. I'm not even sure what he believes. Isn't that weird? This guy's been around forever and has no defining political achievements. He's like that TV character in a show that's always there, and you don't know why. Like Janice Littman from Friends. Screech. Daphne from Scooby-Doo. I'll have you know, she didn't do Velma solved all the crimes. Biden's been around a while. He's like your appendix. It's there all the time, but you don't know about it until it bursts. And what is his message? Hey, guys, I'm still here. But I guess I just feel like a young man.
I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know.
All right. He's not wrong. And it can't be good if Michael Avenatti bends over backwards to endorse you, but Barack Obama doesn't. A popular two-term president says no, but the sleaziest grifter ever says yes. That's like the head cheerleader turning you down for the prom, but the 400-pound janitor with a spiderweb tattoo on his face said, sure, why not? So the next question should be, who should Joe's VP be? Joe is old and kind of slow and not that bright. So to balance his ticket, you need someone who's, what's that word? Conscious. So Joe wants America to return to the good old days of BT before Trump. But were they that good if they gave us such a change agent like Trump? Compare today's economy, the foreign policy, and jobs to back then. If you want to go back in time, Joe, I'm afraid you're going to be going alone. He's so tough he blows his nose with sandpaper. Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. He's so funny he can make milk come out of a cow's nose. He's writer and comedian Joe DeVito. She's the loudest thing from Detroit since the Mustang. Host of the Tyrus and Timpf podcast, Kat Timpf. comes with a lawnmower. Former WWE superstar, my massive sidekick, Tyrus. Pete, this is going to be the greatest election ever because not only do you have all these candidates, you have Trump as America's heckler.
I can't add anything to what you said. Listen, you watch what Joe Biden had to say. He has absolutely nothing to say. He wanted The View. Did you watch it?
Yeah, and that's a beautiful place for him to be, and he still did crappy.
Even the New York Times said rambling and stumbling.
Yes.
Generally incoherent. It was I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because I'm Joe Biden. You kind of like me.
Yes.
I've been the guy that's been around this whole time, and I seem affable, and I kind of touch people inappropriately.
Yes.
But I'm kind of nice about it. It's all fine. And the thing about Bernie is, when he said that line about the Boston bomber, the whole crowd cheered.
Yeah.
The whole crowd. He is speaking to a base that believes what he has to say. He's running for one thing. To win the primary. He'll deal with Trump later on. But he says what he believes. Say what you want about him.
Yes, he's
but
the
he'll
opposite.
be formidable because of that.
He's the opposite of Biden. He actually knows what he believes. Biden is just happy to play a politician on TV. Joe, thoughts? Go for wherever you want to go.
Yeah, well, I'll say, first of all, Democrats, way to frame the issue. Good choice of defending the Boston bombers' right to vote. That's like if they said, do you think literacy is important? And they said, well, does the Unabomber get to the prison library enough? It really needs to get it. The only vote I care about for Tsarnaev is the vote for his last meal before they fry him. Anything before that, I'm not interested. So, that's true.
Sanders would want it to be vegan.
Yeah. They say we need to have a conversation. Okay, well, the conversation is when you're in jail for a felony, you don't get to vote.
Yeah.
And when you're out, if you've rehabilitated yourself and you've paid your debt to society, we can consider it.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult question to have a conversation over. But the Democrats now, they really are looking for what's the most far left, worst person, worst position you can take to signal your virtue. And they're going to pay the price for it because Trump's going to have the whole primary of them tearing each other apart. He's going to sit back and make some notes and send some tweets, and he's going to shred them.
Yeah, he is. It's going to be scary. Kat, thoughts?
My favorite was when they asked Kamala Harris that question,
Yes.
and she said, we can have a conversation. Like, yeah, I think that's what that guy was trying to do by asking you that question. Like, I think that's what he was going for. Like, if I would have been that moderator, I would have asked her, well, are you busy now? Because we were told you had allotted this time for answering questions, so the conversation now works for me. Just come on, have an opinion. You're running for president. You don't get to say I don't know anymore.
And she should. She has all the time in the world to know that she's a prosecutor. She owns a gun, by the way. That's not good for progressive. Tyrus.
Yes.
Thoughts? Take it away.
You know, I actually felt bad for the first time in my life for old white guys. I mean, that became a term.
Yes.
Bunch of old white guys walking in here running for president. Can you believe that? Disgusting. I was like, wow, this is bizarro world. I thought the whole point was to get an even playing field and have the best man, woman, whatever. Nope, no white people. Y'all out. Like that, we're laughing, but you're like, oh, that's kind of true. The Democrats, they're upset that the poll numbers are leaning towards the old white guys.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting, apparently. So that's fun for me to watch. Never in my life would I ever thought that I'd be sitting on a TV and like it wasn't me and my friends complaining. It was literally other white people complaining about too many damn white people running for president. Like we've made it. Like we're there. That and Cory Booker is probably the most spineless person I've ever met in my life. He will agree. No. He will agree to whatever the left tells him.
Yes.
Would you have a woman as a vice president? Absolutely. Of course. She's actually parking the car. Not parking that car, but she's on her way in. She'll be right here. Like he's so afraid of this left monster that it's really enjoyable TV.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's going to be a great 2 years. All right, time is running out to get your tickets for the Gutfeld Monologues live. 3 shows remaining. May 4th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. May 5th, Dallas. May 6th, Midland, Texas. Go to G. Gutfeld for ticket information. Up next, is Twitter the worst thing ever? New research says yes. We knew it was true. Twitter's run by the few. You ever wonder how a super stupid topic starts trending on Twitter, or how one small thing becomes a huge scandal in just minutes, ending in some poor sap losing his job or career, or how the Covington fiasco took off like wildfire, nearly destroying a kid's life? Well, here's why. A new study concludes that a large majority of tweets come from just a small minority of left-wing angry tweeters. The study comes from Pew Research Center and shows that 10% of the users unload 80% of all tweets. In fact, most people on Twitter really don't tweet at all. The median user tweets twice a month and has only 25 followers. So how do you like that? While the rest of us are living our lives in the real world, a few people are setting the narrative on Twitter, and that narrative is usually negative, angry, and small. Worse, it's a storyline that shapes the media's take on the news, often ruining careers overnight. Am I right, Frederick? Yeah! Thank you, Frederick. Kat, I've said this many times, that Twitter is not representative of real life. Agree or disagree?
I don't know, because it is my life.
Oh.
I don't even understand what life would be like without it.
Oh,
Like,
stop
what do
it.
people do all day? How do you know which grandpas in Alabama hate your glasses if you're not on Twitter? How do you get in trouble with your employer who pays you for something that you're not getting paid for?
Exactly.
Like, what do you do when you're lying in bed next to a loved one? What do you do with your hands? I can't...
Nobody answer.
I can't think... Social media is just trouble in general, honestly. Once in college, I was on Facebook, and I was trying to stalk my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, but I wasn't paying attention, and I accidentally made her name my status. And then my computer crashed, and I had to walk to the library, and it was up for like 35 minutes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't say I've never been through anything, Greg.
No, that's true. You are the real hero.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to Afghanistan, but...
Yeah, but did you ever make your status someone's name?
No.
Okay.
Joe, every story, like from Covington to Smollett to Kavanaugh, was made worse by Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like they flood the weirdos flood the zone with hysteria.
Yeah, it's the opposite of Instagram.
Yeah.
Because Instagram is, look how great my life is. And
Yeah.
Twitter is just with a plastic camera. I'm mad. I'm mad. And now, I like Twitter better when they had the 140 character limit.
too.
Because even now when it's long, you see that number at the end. And I say, no, not for me, there's not. I'm not reading any more of this.
You know, the thing that bugs me, Tyrus, is that this weird community on Twitter actually rejects real, authentic community. Like, there's no empathy, no sympathy, and no sense of forgiveness or willingness to apologize.
I don't have a joke about this story because this really bothered me.
Yeah.
And actually, it scares me a little bit because 10% of anything is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But our mainstream media feeds us the 10% and tries to convince us that it's what's really going on in the United States today.
Exactly.
That is so dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that. And like this really, reading this story, this really bothered me because they come off, they portray this as if everybody in this room feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm weird for not.
Yes.
Like, that's what they try to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this needs to be a disclaimer. Every time there's a tweet, there needs to be, also, by the way, just so you know, that this person only represents less than 10% of the actual thing. And the people who are really tweeting the most on Twitter are Greg Gutfeld and President Donald Trump. They take up 25% of it. Of the 10%, you're at least, the two of you together are at least 50% of the 10%.
I tweet to promote this show.
Yeah,
And it doesn't help because our show is so hot that Twitter doesn't help.
This man got a house on a mountaintop so he could have a clear signal to tweet. I thought he was good. Just so you know.
It's true. All right, Pete.
I agree with your sidekick, but where I disagree. Don't you introduce him as such?
Would you like to meet Side Punch?
No, I would not.
He's really funny.
I would not. But to me, this study is obvious.
Yeah, it is.
Like, where can I start a firm that does polls and studies that point out the things we all already know?
Yeah.
There's crazy people. They're angry.
Talk to Frank Luntz.
He makes a lot of money doing that.
Yes.
I think they miss one thing, though. Where is alcohol consumption in this poll?
Yeah.
Because
It's involved.
as my gin intake goes up, my tweeting goes up.
You drink gin?
Yeah, I do.
You know, gin is a dangerous booze.
It's very dangerous.
It changes,
I prefer danger.
Yes, I know. I know how
Life
you
is
live.
boring without that.
I know. You know what? I just don't like Twitter, but I stay on it, and that makes me feel filthy and gross.
Okay.
So let's end there.
Just look for anything that says sparks outrage.
Yes.
You know it's complete.
Yeah.
Sources say.
Sources say. It's terrible. Somebody said that Jack Dorsey could win the Nobel Prize if he deleted entire Twitter, and I think that's right. All right. Up next, the Democrats just can't quit taking the impeachment drug. We laugh at them next. If you can't beat him, impeach him. Even though the Mueller report concluded no collusion, desperate Dems are trying to cobble together any evidence they can to impeach Trump. And as predicted, they chased the waning flame that is obstruction.
The impeachment proceedings are up to the House. They're going to have to make that decision. I am in the Senate.
Do you think the House should move for impeachment?
I think he's made it pretty clear that he deserves impeachment. I'm also going to leave it to the House and Senate to figure that out.
I believe Congress should take the steps towards impeachment.
Accountability has to come from the Congress. And the tool that we are given for that accountability is the impeachment process.
All right. Now I get it. When the economy is strong and there are no big, ugly wars, what else is there? They're never going to win the White House when things are good. So why not impeachment? Besides the fact that it's impossible. But let's face it, impeachment talk is really just therapy, since God knows these lefties need it.
Turns out even the redacted version of the Mueller report is like a really good ragu. You know, it's just better the second day. You know, same thing about like sometimes Chinese takeout too. Like it's good when you get it, but after it's sat overnight in the fridge chilling for a little while, next day, tastier. Corey, write this down. Corey, write this down. Get a pen. Bite off the tip of your finger and write it in blood. From here on out, it's only about crimes in the future. How Donald Trump ran the greatest presidential campaign in history. How's that for a re-election bumper sticker, right? 4 more years. 4 more years. So he can run out the statute of limitations on multiple felony charges over and above the one where they named him Individual 1 and SDNY on 2 campaign finance felonies already. 4 more years for that.
Someone has been hitting the edibles. I get it, because sometimes, Joe, it's hard to gauge how much to eat from an edible. You know?
Yes, I don't like when anyone gives you a cookie with warnings.
Yes. Well, imagine if the Democrats devoted this much energy to actual vision, to creating an actual vision.
Yeah, or maybe worry about an election that's coming up.
Yes.
Instead of trying to win one that you lost and that has already taken place several years earlier. It's done. You lost. Yeah. But you know what? I think this killer voting rights is going to be the position that really puts them ahead this time. Yes. Yeah, it's just the amount of cognitive dissonance that they can't accept. The problem, one of the problems of the left is that they're so insistent on they're smarter than everyone. That's why they're so popular in academia, that they're so smart. And they think that, wow, regular people went out and voted and knew something and did something we don't like. They can't think, well, that's the way the world is. They think the world must be wrong.
Right.
So the world cheated. And if you want to think about, if there's any gift you could give to Putin to disrupt our democratic process, it's this nonsense.
Yeah.
We had the election. It was fair. The guy you didn't like won. Too bad. Deal with it and move on and stop shredding our democratic institutions.
There you go. Tyrus, every time I hear this stuff, it makes me think that being a politician, senator, congressman, whatever, shouldn't be a full-time job. If they have all this time, right? All this time to have these hearings and stuff, clearly they should have another job.
Well, I would like to actually bring that model over here to Fox.
Yeah.
Tyrus, where's your piece? I'm in an investigation right now. I have a hearing.
Yes.
What's your hearing? Celtics playoff game. I got to get to the bottom of what's going on. Apparently, there's a lot of illegal traveling, and I need to put a team together of my close friends.
Yes.
To get to the bottom of it. Like, this is where we're at. Here's the thing. Impeachment only seals his reelection.
Yeah.
Because nothing, as an American citizen, the last thing I want is my vote to be taken away from me.
Right.
or my ability to choose.
Yeah.
We have the Mueller report. I have it at home. I haven't printed it yet. I'm getting there. It's been a lot of good sports on lately, so it's tough. But you have the right as an American citizen to look through that report, and if you are offended or bothered by the outrageous, angry things he said to do where his staff that he paid to keep him from hurting himself stopped him from doing, if that's what you are uncomfortable with and you don't want to vote for him, by all means, do not vote for that president.
Yeah.
But it's your decision. The people will speak. And that's if you don't want Trump in, run a good campaign, maybe you outvote him. But here's the thing. They keep going with this type of this impeachment, hearing after hearing, going after person. He spit on a sidewalk in 1976. We're going to get him for it. You keep doing these things. What are they going to do when he gets the popular vote this time?
Yeah, it's going to be scary.
What will happen then?
Yeah, you know, Pete, it's like they don't want to run an actual election. They'd rather just
they want to undo the last one.
Yeah.
Of course. I got to ask, though, which member of your staff do you submit to this cruel and unusual punishment watching Rachel Maddow?
There's Joni. Good question. Joni McNaughton watches it and finds the best stuff.
I give you my best.
Isn't that incredible?
You know what, I'll tell you this. I feel like President Trump is almost inducing them to go for impeachment. Like tweets.
Yeah. Oh, he wants.
Tweets.
Yes.
He wants it. He knows they can't resist it.
Yep.
They're going to go for it's the public obstruction now with his tweets. He's building a case. He won't even let him investigate. That's ultimately where it's going. They cannot resist. They have nothing to run on other than hating him. But ultimately, I was in New Hampshire, not New Hampshire. I was in Delaware. I don't know where I am in Fox and Friends half the time.
Yeah.
But I was in Delaware a couple mornings ago at a diner talking to voters. Even Democrats in Delaware who know Joe Biden, they say, he's a good guy. But why are we talking about Mueller?
Yeah.
I don't care about Mueller. They want climate change and World War II's coming in 12 years and all this. They believe all that nonsense. They want to talk about those issues, not this stuff.
Final thoughts, Kat, on this?
Well, if the Democrats actually tried to impeach Trump, it wouldn't work, and then he'd just become more popular like happened with Clinton in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I do have an analogy.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that you want to make sure is going to work out in your favor before you try it. Like going through your boyfriend's phone to see if he's cheating on you.
Yes.
Right? Because if you do find racy messages or you find like a list of people that he slept with while you were dating, which happens. Happened to me. So, there were 17 of them, Greg.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
17 of them. But, you know, if you find that and you take and I wasn't even on it. But
that was out of respect. I'm sure it was out of respect.
Okay, yeah. You're defending him. Okay.
I'm a guy. I can't help
So, if you find that stuff, you come out on top, you take the person down. But if you don't, you end up looking like a jerk. You end up looking pathetic. You end up looking like a loser. Why'd you go through my phone? He's the victim. That's the same thing that would happen with Trump.
That's a very good analogy. 17. What was the time frame?
1 year. Where did he find the time?
I don't know. Anyway, we got to talk about UFOs. Yes. Goodbye, UFOs. Hello, UAPs, the Navy's new term for weird things flying in the sky. Up next. The Navy is drafting new guidelines for reporting UFOs. Actually, the Navy is now calling them UAPs, unexplained aerial phenomena. This after a series of unauthorized and unidentifiable aircraft that's found its way into our airspace. Now, the Navy isn't suggesting these are aliens from another planet, which is probably why they're calling them UAPs and not UFOs. I'm confused. And a former Pentagon intel official says these things should be explored, not ignored. I agree. I myself have spotted many a UFO, and I photographed them with the hopes of having them identified by military experts. Here are some UFOs I've observed. Take a look at this one. Yep. Very loud, with deadly blades on its head. And I believe this is some kind of weapon. It always seems to follow children. Then there's this creepy and slow-moving, and it's always looking down on us. This is clearly done for spying. And wow, look at this. This alien seems to want to communicate with us, and it's offering a deal of some kind. And this is, that's just a bird. All right, Tyrus, thoughts on UFOs?
Unidentified flying objects, right?
Right,
It
yes.
doesn't say aliens, so it's kind of like anything in the air you don't know is a UFO. Rebranding.
Yes.
Never works.
Yes.
IHOB. No, not really.
Yeah.
You still call it, even with the giant B, you're like, IHOB, bro, stop. I'm here for pancakes, not a burger. Rebranding never works.
It doesn't.
So I don't know how much money is this costing us?
Yeah.
Like as taxpayers.
All new stationery now.
Yeah.
They have to have all new UFO stationery.
I mean,
You're
rebranding something that doesn't exist.
What about the bathroom
You
towels?
don't know it doesn't exist.
What do you have? The monogram towels used to be UFO. Now it's UAP for the UFOs when they land.
Greg,
they
You're
gotta
going to
take
make this
showers.
about your bathroom and towels.
They got to take showers. You got to have your monogram.
You're not bathing aliens, Greg.
Joe-
That's not the point of my story.
Here's a...
He's going to segue this to him taking a bath with aliens.
Yes.
You guys know the show.
What's
That's
so
what he does.
wrong with taking baths with
I just don't
aliens?
want to rebrand UFOs.
That's how... Why
We
do you
haven't
think-
proved
why do you
there is a UFO, so why do you have to change the name?
Why do you think E.T. was so shriveled?
Because Steven Spielberg's budget was low.
Constant bathing.
See?
Constant
See?
bathing. All right. Here's what I don't understand, Joe. We have this explosion of smartphones.
Yes.
And we haven't seen a corresponding explosion of UFO sightings. In the 1970s,
Yes.
UFOs were everywhere. They didn't have any phones.
Yeah, and now that everyone has a camera with them all the time, I really thought we were going to see some kick-ass alien and
Yeah.
Bigfoot footage.
Yes.
And it's mostly fights at Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like unidentified flying object because I think it objectifies them.
Oh,
and
true.
That's wrong.
Yes.
But I think if ever there were a time for the aliens to land, it's with Trump in the White House.
Oh, hell
It's
yeah.
so hilarious. Because in the movies, always the aliens would land and they'd say, well, humanity puts their differences aside, and Russia and China, North Korea, and the U.S. The aliens would land, we wouldn't even notice because people are like, we're fighting over hats. Come to me because of hats. Come back later.
Who are you with? Aliens? Are you with us? Resist Trump. Aliens.
Like one side would ask him to help tear down signs. Like, oh, he has a sign I like, and the other side would say, oh, you're from outer space? Hey, you get free college. We'll give you free college.
It's so true. Pete, I have a theory that I've stolen from other people that there aren't any aliens because the life forms were first like us, then they created technology, then they created artificial intelligence, which then took over, and the non-conscious overlords forever silenced the universe. So they're just dead. And that's where we're headed, Pete.
We're all dead.
We're all dead soon.
Soon, eventually, yes.
Yes.
I
Except
have
for
no
you.
idea what you just said.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I said
It's
it.
a pretty good theory.
I ran out of a question.
I will say, though, I disagree once again with Tyrus, which is a dangerous proposition. What about when Domino's rebranded? They had terrible pizza, and then they redid it, and they rebranded, and now I eat Domino's.
Really?
Domino's
Rebranding can
to what?
work. What?
They have thin crust, don't
I know they got rid of the Noid when I was a kid. But what else?
No,
What
they
they
made
went
the
to
pizza
now?
better.
Yeah.
So maybe the aliens are getting more
They
sophisticated.
need better pizza, but they're still Domino's. They didn't rebrand the brand.
Are you saying we should make aliens
No, well, hold on. I
into
guess you're
pizza?
tired from Delaware. Hold on. You want to disagree? I don't. They didn't change the name of Domino's to Cards.
No, they didn't.
Still Domino's.
Okay, fine. Arby's.
Yes.
They have the beef. But
4 sandwiches because they don't want a heritage.
I think maybe we should worry a little bit more about the Chinese.
Okay.
They're getting pretty sophisticated. Maybe we should focus there.
You think the Chinese should rebrand?
They're already doing that.
They were. All right, Kat. Something tells me you believe in aliens. Or you might have dated one.
What
You
if
have an
I could?
extra arm, Greg. What?
For shopping and texting. How happy would she be with a four-armed guy with 2 phones texting her every 15 minutes? It would be heaven on earth.
Think of the hand-holding.
I spent a lot of time today, like 5 minutes, thinking about whether people who say they see aliens are telling the truth. Because my first thought is no. But then I thought about it, Greg.
Yes.
And imagine what it would have to take for you and how certain you'd have to be before you went and reported that you had seen an alien. Because you know that once you do that, everyone's going to think you're crazy.
Yeah.
The response you're going to get is going to be like, all right, buddy, you know? And then everyone will walk around calling you E.T. forever.
Right.
And nobody likes being called E.T.
Yeah.
Not even my brother. And his name is Elliot Timpf.
Oh. Is he kind of shriveled?
Not last time I saw him. It has been since Christmas.
Oh, wow. I don't know why I asked. Oh, yeah, that was... Never mind. What is wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. Why do I have a show? Anyway, still ahead. Do you lie about what you did on vacation? You're not alone. That story is next. Did you lie on the beach or lie about the beach? Oh, I wrote that. A new study finds that Americans are lying about how great their vacations are, even creating phony photos to prove it. About 2/3 of those surveyed, which I believe is almost half, Pete, say they lied about their last getaway, especially when it comes to the weather, the hotels, and stuff they saw. Meanwhile, photo editing services such as Fake a Vacation and Chrome Photos lets users submit pictures, superimposing them onto fake backgrounds. Anybody could do this. For example, maybe you want to make your friends think you went to Barcelona or Barcelona or the Great Wall of China. No problem. Though, honestly, I can't relate to this. I just show people the real thing. Take my last vacation. Here's me and Lou Dobbs. It was New Year's in Aspen. Great time. And here we are the year before. I think this is South Beach. Is this South Beach? Yeah, it's South Beach. So much fun, we never took our suits off. And here we are, I think before, in Brazil. It's like the guy has a special power for finding the nearest hot tub. All right, Kat, is this pathetic?
See, I just thought this was interesting because it made me realize apparently you're supposed to be trying to impress people with your Instagram. Because I've just been kind of sharing.
Yes.
You know? I saw this, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have posted that video of me putting a warm compress on a sty on my eye. Maybe I should post fewer pictures without hair and makeup. One time I posted a picture without my hair and makeup done, and someone commented, "This was so brave of you to post." And like, they were trying to be nice, but that was 100% the meanest thing
I have apologized
they could have possibly
so many times
said
for
to
that.
me. Like, well, I should be afraid to show my face? I do feel better.
sorry.
Thank you.
I've never posted again.
All right, Joe, what Kat just did is so fake.
Yes.
Good-looking people post pictures of themselves without makeup and go, "Oh, this is me without makeup. Oh, look how
I have never once done that.
I'm still attractive."
I have never
They
once
do that,
done
don't they? The Kardashians do it all the time.
Yeah, that's the purpose of Instagram. And I think George Costanza said, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Yes.
And these vacations, it's true. The point is not to have a vacation take photos. The vacation is the photos you put up so
Yes.
that people can see it. Instagram whole thing's a sham. I don't even think there's such a thing as avocados. I don't think they exist in the real world.
Yeah. They're quite tasty.
I think a small pro tip is if you're doing that, don't take a public picture and then use it in your fake picture so that people can compare them to each other.
Yes,
Be
exactly.
a little bit more sophisticated about the photos you choose. Yours were very carefully selected.
Yeah, well, you know, it's me and Lou. Me and Lou travel the world in our private copter/boat.
Can I get invited down
No,
the next one?
no. Are you kidding? There's only room for me with Lou. You come near him, you're dead. Hey, Tyrus, everybody loves to post their big vacation photos because, well, some people want to make sure that the people they hate know you're having fun.
No, I think, Greg, you're giving them way too much credit. You have to understand, social media, Instagram, the new truth is the lie. They lie about everything. It's not just vacations are the least. If someone takes an average picture, it's at an angle, like literally, and then when you meet them in person, you're like, what the? You know what I'm saying? I can't do that when I meet you.
Yeah.
You know, like the entire thing's a lie.
Yeah.
People have been like living in separate houses and don't even speak.
Yeah.
All their pictures like us with the kids at church.
Yeah.
And then,
my goodness.
And then we had the family meal, and then we built a church for other people together. But in real life, don't look at me. I'm not. Why are we here? The lawyer said we have to meet once a week. Like literally, social.
True.
See, I'm lying. Social media is a lie.
It is a lie.
Everybody sees it every day.
Twitter is a lie. All social media is a lie. Everybody should get
Filters.
off it.
You
Get off
really
it.
think women have deer antlers and are happy with crystals on their head? I mean, it's...
What?
All right.
Filters.
We gotta go. I hate those things too. I hate the filters. I hate everything though. God, I gotta stop hating things. Final thoughts next.
Final thoughts. It's the last thought. That's why it's called the final thoughts, okay?
Real quick, Pete.
Big congrats to my new co-host, Fox and Friends Weekend, Jedediah Beale.
Who is she?
We love her.
I know, I'm joking.
Official.
Joe,
For truly pointless Twitter, check out @JoeDeVito Comedy and JoeDeVito.com for all my tour dates. Got Atlantic City, Long Island, a bunch of other fun stuff coming up.
Excellent. Congrats. All right. We're out of time. Thanks to Pete Hegseth, Joe DeVito, Tyrus, our studio audience. I'm Greg Gutfeld, and I